Coming up on the first edition of Our Indiana, we'll get to know the senior leaders of the National Championship Crimson Cheerleading Squad.
And after that, we asked the new women's tennis coach about his career and the plans he has for the future.
That and more coming up on Our Indiana.
Welcome to Our Indiana. I'm Tyler Sorg.
And I'm Imani Keith. This past weekend, IU Sports had a full schedule against some tough opponents. Over the weekend, our men's basketball team tested the waters in the Big Ten with 2 games against Michigan and Northwestern. Thursday night, they traveled to Ann Arbor to face a tough Wolverine team. With the absence of forward OG Anunoby, the Hoosiers lost to a Michigan 90-60, their biggest loss to the Wolverines since 1998. IU scoring leader James Blackman Jr. sustained a lower leg injury and will be out indefinitely. Sunday evening, the Hoosiers regrouped, traveling to Evanston to face Northwestern, but the injury-ridden Hoosiers struggled to pull ahead of the Wildcats, losing 55-68. The Hoosiers will be back in action Wednesday for a pivotal Big Ten matchup against Penn State at home. Tip-off is at 6:30.
The Indiana women's basketball team defeated the Wisconsin Badgers yesterday 78-54. 4 Hoosiers scored in double figures in the victory, with Tyra Butts scoring 19, Alexis Gashian putting up 16, Jen Anderson adding 14, and Amanda Cahill notching 11 points. Indiana entered the fourth quarter with only a 6-point lead, but ran away with it, outscoring Wisconsin 21-3. The win was head coach Terry Morin's 250th as a collegiate head coach, and it was the Hoosiers' first win in Madison since 2009. Indiana has won 3 straight and sit at 15-6 as they prepare to take on Michigan State and East Lansing this Thursday.
This weekend marked the annual IU Relay. The Hoosiers had a record-breaking 2-day meet. Highlights included both men's and women's team winning the 4x4, the women's and men's team sweeping in the 600, and Andrew Miller breaking the school record in the weight throw with a toss of 21.06 meters, placing him 11th in the NCAA and 3rd in the Big Ten. Junior Daniel Kuhn was back at it in the 600-meter, running a blazing time of 1 minute and 15.88 seconds, the fastest time in the NCAA this season. The Hoosiers will be back in action next weekend as they travel to Notre Dame for the Mayo Invitational.
Friday was senior day for the Indiana swimming and diving teams. The number 4 ranked men's team kept their season-long win streak in dual meets alive against the number 7 Louisville Cardinals, winning 195-105. The men's 200 medley relay team of Bob Glover, E. Infinity, Vinny Lanza, and Ali Kalafala took first place. The number 14 women's team fell to the 10th-ranked Louisville Cardinals, 171-129. The women's 200 medley relay team posted their second-best time of the season, but it wasn't enough as the team of Kennedy Goss, Lily King, Gia D'Alessandro, and Ali Rocket got outtouched by .06 seconds.
IU's Crimson Cheerleaders claimed their 5th national championship in 6 years earlier this month. For the 3 seniors on the team, this title represents a final accomplishment before they say goodbye. Our own Nicole Christine has the story.
For seniors Miata Walker, Haley Daniel, and Kelsey Whirling, last month's national title was their 3rd in 4 years. It would also be their last with the Crimson Cheerleading all-girls team. The 3 girls are the only ones left of their freshman class, which included 11 others who have left the program over the years. Miata said this fact is something she is very proud of.
I just would never believe, that I'm standing here. I made it through. There was 14 freshmen of us. Now there's 3. And so to think that, I'm one of those 3, I'm just super thankful for.
Despite their multiple titles, perhaps the most impactful year for the seniors was 2015, when the team came in 2nd in nationals. Haley said the loss was a strong motivator.
It was what we needed to get back on track, to, drive a little bit more, to push a little bit harder, and it really, really set a fire underneath our butts.
That fire led to 2 consecutive titles in 2016 and 2017. Tony Nash, the assistant coach for the team, emphasized the high standard of leadership these 3 have brought to the program.
We kind of hold everyone to the same standard, but I think this senior class has been outstanding throughout their time as far as leading this group.
Each of the 3 seniors is said to bring a different leadership quality to the team. Haley is the sweet, encouraging one, Miata is the motivational speaker, the lead by example, and Kelsey is the outspoken one who keeps people in line. Kelsey said that this creates a combination that has worked very well over the years.
especially this group of seniors, Haley, Miata, and I think we brought a really good form of leadership to the team. I think we all brought very different things, whether we needed to get on people, whether we needed to cheer people up, whether we needed to bring positivity to the team, whether we needed to be stern. We all played different roles, and I think us three working together really was a great combination.
Now that the seniors are approaching graduation, they express their gratitude for the program and the valuable lessons and bonds it has given them.
To think that, I wasn't going to cheer in college, and here we are, with 3 titles under my belt and, family for life. That's my second family.
And while they may not wear their crimson uniforms much longer, these seniors will carry their IU legacy with them for the rest of their lives.
This program will forever be the biggest part of me, and I really wouldn't be who I am without it.
The seniors will continue to practice and cheer with the team until they graduate in May.
After the break, we'll be taking a look at the accomplishments of the IU women's tennis team and where the program is headed under its new leadership.
Following that, we share our interview with a rising star in track and field. More after this on Our Indiana.
I wouldn't be here if it weren't for Indiana University.
Welcome back to Our Indiana. I'm Imani Keith.
And I'm Tyler Sorg. The IU women's tennis team has been a symbol for athletic and academic success for the past 5 decades, thanks to legendary tennis coach Lynn Loring. This year, Loring stepped down and left the legacy in familiar hands. Brad Davis has the story.
I think all of us, we were surprised.
For the past 5 decades, the IU women's tennis team has been a fixture under the watchful eye of all-time wins leader Lynn Loring. Before this season, Loring stepped down, paving the way for his longtime assistant, Ramiro Azcui.
Even though it's a smooth, easy transition, it's still a little bit harder just to deal with all the emotions that you have to deal and getting ready for the season and things like that.
Taking Coach Ramiro's old position is Ryan Miller, a former manager and volunteer coach who came back to the Indiana family after a successful stint coaching tennis at Hanover College.
Both Coach Loring and Ramiro have been great mentors to me, and so kind of almost grew up in this tennis center. So it's pretty neat experience to be back and be able to give back to the program that gave me so much during my time here.
To keep things going with the family theme, Coach Ramiro's first match as head coach took place behind me at the IU Tennis Center when the Hoosiers faced off against Western Michigan, who Coach Ramiro's daughter plays for.
If there was not another person that I would love to share that spotlight of my first college match, than my daughter.
The Hoosiers began the Azcui era with a win in that match, picking up where the legendary coach before him left off. And while big changes were inevitable, Coach Ramiro plans on building on top of the foundation Coach Loring left.
We want the players always to feel like they are improving every day. And when they leave this program, we want them to know that they did everything they could and they improved to their best of their abilities.
The Hoosiers split their most recent matches this weekend, bringing their record to 3-1 on the year.
For this week's edition of Who's That Hoosier, we have the living legend junior track and field runner Daniel Kuhn, who has been blazing up the track these past few weeks. After being honored with the Big Ten Athlete of the Week for running the 4th fastest 600-meter dash in collegiate history, Kuhn took his running to another level the very next week, breaking his own school record in the 800-meter run. And as we told you at the top of the show, the Shelbyville native run a 600-meter dash in 1 minute, 15 seconds over the weekend, the fastest by any NCAA athlete all season. Our very own Joe DiBenedetto is here with him in studio to catch up and get inside the mind of a champion.
Thanks, Imani. 2 weeks ago, he broke his own school record in the 800-meter. This past week, he broke a school record in the 600-meter, good for one of the top times in NCAA history. He's a 5-time Big Ten Track Athlete of the Week. He is Dan Kuhn. Dan, thanks so much for joining us.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
So, Dan, tell me, at one point, your senior year of high school, you were committed to go play baseball at Trident University. And now, you're one of the best Indiana track athletes in school history. What happened?
So in high school, I decided my senior year, since I was committed to play baseball at Trine University verbally, since it was Division III, that I was going to try to run track and play baseball both. Then my senior year, I went on, just ran at the track meets and everything like that. Didn't go to practices. Won the state meet in the 800 meter. Got an offer to come run here. And I was laying in bed that night and figured 10 years down the road that I was going to regret it, not trying it, because I could always go back and play baseball. But the opportunity to go run at Indiana University was just once in a lifetime. So I decided, called coach back, said that I wanted to commit, everything like that, and haven't looked back since, and just kind of run with it.
I like that. So you're breaking one record 1 week, another the next week. What's next? Is there another record you have planned to break?
I try not to focus on the records as much as I can, because I don't know if you've seen the movie Race, but he said that any record can just be ripped from you by any random person walking along the street. But I want to go along and just try to be as competitive as I can in these races. The times take care of themselves when you're being extremely competitive and you get in a high-level race. If you're beating everybody, you're going to end up running fast at least one time. So I just try to go out and be the best person on the track that day.
I like that. So when you're running, what exactly is it that inspires you to run? Is there something in your head? Has there been an inspiration in the past? What's your inspiration?
Right. Growing up, we've always been a very, very competitive family. It didn't matter if it was Monopoly or if we were playing tag, and me and my brother too. It was anything. It was who would go get the mail first or who won when we went family bowling or whatever. It was just, I've always been extremely competitive. And then when I step on the track and you get in that zone of just that competitiveness and wanting to be the best person out there. And I think that's what just drives me, is I want to be the best at whatever I'm doing, no matter what it is. And I go to great lengths in order to get that.
Competition is fierce. So for me, I run a 3-minute, 55-second half mile, and I'm listening in my head to Estelle, Kanye West, American's Boy. For you, what goes on in your head when you're running? Are you zoned in? Is there a certain song? What is it? What ticks?
It's such a short race that I don't know if a song really clicks in my head, but I kind of zone out to the point where you can hear the footsteps of all the other athletes. And then it's always best whenever you're racing, then you can't hear the other footsteps of those other athletes. But I just try to focus on my form is the main thing, because if you're running efficiently, then it's going to be easier to run fast, and you're not going to break down late. And if you're running late, then that's always a good sign. So just trying to get in that zone where you can't hear anything is probably the best thing that I would recommend, or that I do.
Right. Maybe I'll stick to that next time. In the track and field industry, do you have an idol, an Olympian, a certain runner? Is there an idol you have in the track and field sport?
Obviously, being an 800-meter runner, I idolize David Rudisha. He set the world record in 2012 Olympics. He ran at 1:40.91, which is absolutely insane. But one of the first collegiate runners that I saw when it was my freshman year, Coach Poor came up and just said, "Hey, why don't you go home and just start watching some videos on some 800 guys, because you don't know anything about track." And I really didn't. So I went home. I don't know when Robbie Andrews won NCAA's indoors, but he was in dead last with about 80 meters to go, and he went flying around everybody. And it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And I've actually been in a race, not in the same race as him, but I was racing in the same location in Portland last year in indoors. And he's definitely one of the guys that inspired the sit and kick technique, so to say.
So we spoke earlier before the show, and you said College Station is next for the national championships if you make it there after the Big Ten championships.
Right.
What about after college? Is there any, short-term, long-term goals you have? Do you have a career you'd like to pursue? Is the Olympics something that's possibly in mind?
I think growing up as a little kid, it's pretty impossible not to picture yourself running around the track with a USA flag wrapped around your back or wearing the United States jersey out on a stage like that. So that would definitely be an honor in order to go out and represent the United States like that, and hopefully something that I would at least get the opportunity to try to do. Running professionally, I mean, I don't think I'm at a place right now where I'm ready for that. I think I need to definitely finish out my career here at Indiana, even if the opportunity arose after this year. But right now, the focus is just getting my degree. I'm currently studying psychology and plan to be a sports psychologist and work with athletes and help people that struggle on those little mental aspects of things and help them get through what can be a very hard 4 years for some people.
I mean, I definitely could see why you see that struggle. Yeah. Dan, thank you so much. It was a great talking to you today. For next time, from our Indiana and Who's That Hoosier, I'm Joe DiBenedetto.
Coming up next, we fill you in on what's coming up later this week.
We'll be back after this break on Our Indiana.
Hi, I'm Sage Steele of ESPN. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for Indiana University.
Welcome back to Our Indiana.
Before we sign off, here is what you can look forward to in this week with Jordan Burroughs. Jordan?
Hoosier sports are booming this week, and if you need something to do, IU Athletics has you covered. There's a ton of action right here in Bloomington this week, along with several road games. Starting with this Wednesday, the Hoosiers faced off against Penn State in a game that could decide their NCAA tournament fate. The Nittany Lions coming to Assembly Hall in a game that should be sold out. Game time, 6:30 p.m. Thursday, the women's basketball team gets a chance to play up in East Lansing against the Michigan State Spartans. That game will be on the Big Ten Network and will tip off at 6 p.m. To end the school week or work week, whatever have you, the Mayo Invitational begins at South Bend Friday at the Loftus Sports Center and has events Saturday as well. Field events will begin at 4 p.m. Friday and 10 a.m. Saturday. The running events will begin at 4:30 p.m. Friday and continue Saturday morning at 9:45. Indiana isn't the only team from the state to compete. Indiana State, Butler, and Purdue will accompany the Hoosiers in South Bend. Also on Friday, the IU wrestling squad will travel to Maryland on the mat to meet the Terrapins at 7 p.m. The game will be available on BTN+. Both the men's and women's tennis teams have matches this week, and both of them will have home court advantage. The women play at 11 a.m. against Miami University, and the men have a matchup with the Princeton Tigers at 3 p.m. Now, Sunday will be packed full of events. Women's water polo will have a doubleheader, and the team will be playing in Providence, Rhode Island. The morning match between Azusa Pacific University is at 8 a.m., and the afternoon match begins at 3 p.m. against the Brown University Bears. Women's tennis also has a doubleheader. First match beginning at 11 a.m. against the Western Kentucky Lady Hilltoppers. Following that match, they square off against Evansville at 3:30 p.m. Wrestling will also have another meet this weekend, but this time they will travel all the way to New Brunswick, New Jersey. The Hoosiers will wrestle the Rutgers Scarlet Knights at noon. To end the jam-packed weekend, both the men's and women's basketball teams will both have a game. The women are looking to pack the house at Assembly Hall against Maryland at noon, while the men hit the road to visit Madison, Wisconsin, and take on the Badgers at 1 p.m. That game can be seen on CBS. What a crazy week it will be for IU Athletics, and I can assure you it will be a good one. For more information on these events, just visit iuhoosiers.com.
Well, that's all we have for you today, but be sure to tune in next week for more coverage of IU sports.
Have a great week from us at Our Indiana.